This is my here audience. Every summer for the past 17 years, everyone always asks me where I'm going to go on my summer vacation. And normally the answers are Cancun, but instead mine's Concan. And everybody always gets that confused. They ask me, don't you mean Cancun? But I have to tell them, no, I mean Concan. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Concan, Texas. Among the many great things it has, which include floating the river, climbing Mount Baldy, and spending time with your family, are the three main things that I love about Concan, Texas. I've been going to Concan, Texas since I was 3 years old, and this will be my 17th summer here this year. And I'm actually at Concan, Texas right now giving my speech over the Frio River. So one of my favorite things about the Frio River is floating the river. So when you float the river, there's a process into getting it, and a very large process for us because we have around 30 people floating the river every day. So the first thing you do is you wake up and you have to get all your snacks because some of these floats are 3 to 4 hours long. And once you get your snacks, you get in a truck and you have to drive all the people and all the tubes down to where you're going to float. And one of my favorite floats is Happy Hollow because it's so deep and there's always water. And sometimes in the Frio there's not always as much water and you have to walk a little bit. But Happy Hollow always has water. And one of the best things about it is you float it quick. And I don't like sitting in a tube for that long, and it's a pretty quick float. So after you float, you have to get your tube to go all the way back and get the truck. And one year we were floating and they got a 15-foot rainstorm in 12 hours, and the river road rose way too high. But there was no sign saying that it was closed and you couldn't float it. And we went to float it, and we floated a 3-hour float in about 45 minutes. One of the second things I like about the Frio River is Gardner State Park. Gardner State Park is a state park outside of Uvalde, Texas, and in between Leakey and Concan. And it has many secrets that people don't always go and see. One of my favorite things to do at Gardner State Park is hike Mount Baldy. And Mount Baldy is a peak that has about 400-foot hike, and you have to walk it. But actually it's outside of Gardner State Park, so you actually are trespassing, but there are footprints to let you go, and many people know you're gonna go and hike it. And as you're hiking up Mount Baldy, you get about halfway up and there's a cave, and this cave is called Ice Cave. And Ice Cave is just a cave in the middle of the mountain. And once you walk in, it's normally about 105 degrees outside, but once you get into the cave, it drops about 50 to 60 degrees. And one of the coolest things about the cave is you can walk almost 100 yards back into it. And once you get to the very back, you can turn off your flashlights and you can put your hand right in front of your face and you cannot see anything. And it really makes you feel almost awkward, and if you're claustrophobic, I would say never go in it. One of my cousins, his name's Reed, he's never been in an icebox cave. He's 20 years old. One of the last things I like about the Frio is how close you get with your family. So I've been going to the Frio now for 17 years, and me and my family go every year. But every year we've gone, my dad's twin brother's also gone with us. And we normally have another family and friends, and we always have a great time. And how we deal with it in cooking for everyone is one night each family has a meal. So tonight we had hamburgers, last night we had fajitas, the night before that we had a taco bar. And one of the great things is that you don't always get nowadays is once we cook, we all sit down and eat together and we have a good time. And we sit around, talk about life and everything like that. And then after that, we all get dressed up and we go back to Gardner, and there's a dance at night times. And one of my favorite things about this dance is, you get to hang out with girls. And that's always fun. Also, there's another place called Joe Jimmy's, and it's kind of like a bar type dance floor, and it reminds me a lot of the Tap in College Station, and it's a good time. So my main things and my favorite things about this is floating the river, climbing Mount Baldy in Gardner State Park, and being close to your family. And if I think you've never been to Uvalde or Concan, Texas, it would be a great place to go and visit and have a good experience. Now you'll have to ask me a couple questions.
Amen.
What is your favorite thing to do in Concan?
Favorite thing to do in Concan, Texas is there's rope swings on the side of the river, and you swing off the rope swing and try to land in other people's tubes, and people get very frustrated, but it's funny.
What is your funnest experience hiking up Mount Baldy? Yeah.
My favorite thing about Mount Baldy was one time we were hiking and we found a 50-foot hole, and my friend decided to climb across the hole, and he was over about 50 foot, and he kept telling us about the 3-point rule, and it was really funny, and I don't think I'll ever forget it.
How often do you come up here to Concan?
Most summers we come once a year around June or July, and this time we're up here late July. But it's always a fun time no matter what time of the year it is.
Awesome.
Okay.